Now today we're going to be making a really delicious gravy. Now I'm going to be making this gravy from the sort of meat juices and the fat from roasting some pork. Now whenever I'm going to do roast pork in the oven, first thing I do is add some water, like a glass of water at the bottom of the pan, and again later on, if it looks like it's drying out, add a little bit more. The reason I'm suggesting you do that is, first of all, it helps to prevent the meat from shrinking. Secondly, you've got all those sort of pan juices you can baste your meat. And thirdly, we're going to need those juices for making a really delicious gravy. Now the first thing we're going to do is to actually take the meat from out the oven, then we're going to pour all those pan juices into a little glass so that we can separate the fat from the juices. Now I'm just going to take me pork out of the oven. You can see it there, look, beautiful. I've got pork loin there with some lovely crackling, and we've got some pork belly, again really nice crackling. At the bottom there I've got the juices. Now some of that's going to be fat and some of it's going to be the liquid and sort of the water we added. Now I actually sort of put some garlic and vinegar over the top of mine, so it's got a really nice flavour, slightly garlicky flavour. So let's pull that pan out, and I'm going to tip whatever juices we can into a glass and see what happens. Now I've just taken my meat from out the oven, and what I'm going to do is transfer those two onto a plate and just loosely cover them with tin foil, because that helps the meat to rest. Now that gives you about 20 or 30 minutes to actually get on with doing your gravy, so you've got plenty of time. So I'm just going to very gently pick that up. I'm going to pop those onto a plate. So I've got all my juices here in the pan, and I'm going to tip those into a glass so that we can actually see what's going on. So I'm just going to move my pan out of the way, and I'm actually going to put a little glass there, and I think we're just going to pour all those juices into there. I'm going to try and get all those bits of garlic in there as well. I'll put the salsa there just in case I make a mess. And I'm just going to scrape the bottom of the pan. I'm just going to put those bits of garlic, look. Now I'm just going to leave that and just let it separate. Now I've got my glass there, I've left it for about 10 minutes, and you can see the fat is completely separated from all the juices. Now the bottom part is all those lovely juices that come from the meat, and you know, we've got the sort of bits of garlic in there, so this is absolutely beautiful, flavoursome. The top part, that is all the fat. Now because we're doing pork loins and we've got all that crackling, you've got plenty of fat and it's kind of accumulated at the top there. Now what we need to do is to scoop that out, and we're going to mix that with some flour to make a roux. Now I'm just going to use me soup spoon that I kind of bent, because I find it dead handy for doing this sort of job. And I'm just going to take all the fat out of there, because if you don't remove the fat and you try and sneak it in, you just get a really oily kind of gravy, and we don't want that. So keep doing this until you've got all of the fat out. It doesn't matter if you take a little bit of the juices with it. I'm just going to bend my spoon a little bit more. That's it. Right, let's have a look at that. I think there's a tiny little bit more in there. I do. So I'm just going to show you, we've got the fat in here and we've got all the juices in here. So we've kind of got them separated now. Now what we're going to do is get on with the cooking, and we're going to start making a roux. Now first of all, I've got all the fat. I might as well use all of that. Now there's going to be a fair amount of gravy here, so let that warm up a little bit, and then I'm just going to put in the actual plain flour. I'm going to do this on a medium heat. Now I'm not going to measure out how much flour we're going to use. I'm just going to put in, to start with, a couple of spoonfuls, and just sort of mix that around really. You may have to add a little bit more flour if need be. We're just kind of making a paste, so let's see how it looks. Yeah, I'm going to put just a little bit more plain flour in there. That's it. Stir that around, because when you add the flour, you do want to kind of, you know, sort of cook the rawness off the flour. And again, if you feel you need a little bit more, that's fine. I think I might just add a little bit more because I want it a little bit thicker than that. That's it. Just give that a quick stir around. Get it a bit pasty. And then what I'm going to add to this, once we've got it sort of cooked a little bit, is some chicken stock. Now the thing is, when you're cooking the roux, you want to cook it until it gets a little bit brown, because you want to give a bit of colour to the actual gravy. So just keep mixing this and stirring it, and it will start to brown off. Now the longer you cook this kind of roux, the sort of darker it's going to become. Mine's starting to colour up quite nicely now, so very soon I'm going to add in the chicken stock. When you add the chicken stock, just start with a little bit and then build it up, gradually adding a little bit more each time. And again, make sure you keep on stirring it. You know, it's all getting absorbed at the moment, till you get it slightly liquid, because once it's a bit liquid, you can always, you know, cook it for a little bit longer and get it to the thickness you want. Now I've got all those lovely juices that we sort of, you know, cooked up with the meat, so pour those in. Look at that, all those bits of garlic, and give that a good stir around. Now we'll probably need to season this with a bit of salt and pepper. Now obviously it's up to you if you want to add extra flavours into that, but I'm just going to do it really simple, salt and pepper. Now again, you might want to taste it, but I generally know you need a little bit of salt and pepper in there. So I've got a bit of salt, fresh ground black pepper. Obviously do these kind of things to taste. Give that a good stir around, and then really just let it kind of thicken up on a lowish heat to exactly how you want it. Give it a taste, make sure it's got enough seasoning, and I think you'll find you'll have a lovely gravy. So I'll just give that the occasional stir, and in, you know, a couple of minutes I'll just give it a quick taste and see how it is. I'm just going to see how my gravy's getting on. That's it, looks really nice. Let me just try a bit of that. Beautiful. Oh, that is so nice. I can't wait to add the meat just to have me gravy. Beautiful. Now obviously the thickness of the gravy, just cook it on a simmer, and you know, the longer you cook it, the thicker it's going to get. If you find it's really thick, you can add a little bit more stock or a bit of water or something. And obviously if it's too runny, just, you know, cook it a little bit longer. It's as simple as that. I'm just going to leave mine for another 2 or 3 minutes, and then we're going to serve it up with some of that beautiful pork. Delicious. So I'm just going to serve up some of that pork with that beautiful crackling. Now I'm going to serve that up. I've done some potato wedges today, bit of rosemary, salt and pepper, olive oil. Look at that. Just going to serve out a little bit of broccoli. Right, I've just finished making that gravy. Look at that, beautiful. Now I'm just going to pour this over. As I say, do it however thick you want it. Just going to put a little bit on the meat, a little bit of that broccoli, and you know, let's try some of that. So let's turn this round. Oh, got a bit of that crackle in there. Those beautiful juices of the gravy. You know, the gravy kind of makes the meal, really. Wow. Taste that gravy. Really delicious. Grab one of those potatoes. These are like potato wedges. Bit of rosemary. Oh, such a lovely dinner. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. And the gravy is really simple to make.